For a few heavy seconds, the entire hall fell into an almost suffocating silence, the kind of silence that makes your chest tighten before you even know why. No host. No introduction. Just a single spotlight slowly warming up at center stage. And then, a small figure stepped forward. At first, many in the audience didn't understand what they were witnessing. But within moments, whispers began to ripple through the crowd like electricity. Because standing under that soft white light was the young son of Yu Menglong, and what happened next would leave millions of fans around the world fighting back tears. In today's emotional deep dive, you're about to witness the full story behind the moment that shattered hearts across the internet. We're uncovering how Yu Menglong's unreleased song resurfaced, why his son's performance hit fans so deeply, and the hidden emotional layers connecting it all back to the shocking events of September 11, 2025. Trust me, you do not want to miss what unfolds next. Because what started as a quiet tribute quickly turned into one of the most talked about moments in recent entertainment history. The night of the performance was never meant to explode online the way it did. According to insiders, the memorial event was planned as a modest, private gathering, a space for close friends, industry figures, and a limited number of devoted supporters to honor Yu Menglong's legacy. But fate, as many fans now believe, had other plans. The moment the young boy reached the microphone, something shifted in the room. Those present described the atmosphere as unexplainably heavy, as if everyone collectively sensed they were about to witness something deeply personal. He looked small beneath the towering stage lights. Nervous. But determined. And then the first note played. Soft piano keys floated through the hall, gentle, almost fragile, and within seconds, longtime followers recognized the melody. It was the unreleased track. The one rumored to have been recorded quietly by Yu Menglong months before his sudden and heartbreaking passing on September 11, 2025. Gasps reportedly spread through the audience. Because for months, fans had speculated about the existence of unfinished music hidden deep in studio archives. Some insiders hinted at emotional recordings Yu Menglong never had the chance to share. Others dismissed the rumors entirely. Until this moment. As the instrumental swelled, the young boy closed his eyes and began to sing. His voice, though youthful and still developing, carried something far more powerful than technical perfection. It carried memory. It carried grief. And above all, it carried the unmistakable emotional echo of his father. Within minutes, phones were quietly lifted throughout the venue. Not out of disrespect, but because everyone seemed to realize the same thing at once. This was history unfolding in real time. Online, the impact was immediate and overwhelming. Clips of the performance spread across platforms at lightning speed. Comment sections flooded with crying emojis, broken heart reactions, and stunned messages from fans who admitted they were not prepared for the emotional weight of the moment. One viral comment summed up the collective mood. "I wasn't ready. This felt like hearing Yu Menglong one last time." What made the performance even more haunting was the song itself. According to music insiders, the unreleased track was believed to be one of Yu Menglong's most personal recordings, a reflective piece about time, distance, and the fragile nature of life's promises. Though never officially confirmed, many fans now believe the lyrics hit differently in the wake of his September 11th passing. Lines that once sounded poetic suddenly felt painfully prophetic. And when sung by his own child, the emotional impact multiplied beyond anything the organizers may have expected. Sources close to the event revealed that even some seasoned industry veterans in attendance were visibly shaken. One attendee reportedly described the atmosphere as watching grief and love exist in the same breath. But the most powerful moment came near the end of the song. As the final chorus approached, the young boy's voice reportedly wavered for just a split second, not enough to break the performance, but enough for listeners to feel the raw emotion behind the music. That single moment is what many fans say broke them completely. Because it wasn't polished. It wasn't staged. It was real. And in a world where celebrity tributes often feel carefully managed, this one felt deeply human. Behind the scenes, new questions have quietly begun circulating. Who made the decision to release this particular unreleased track now? Was this moment planned long in advance, or did it come together more spontaneously than anyone expected? And perhaps most emotionally charged of all. How much of Yu Menglong's unheard music still remains locked away? Some music insiders believe there could be more unreleased material waiting in studio archives. Others caution that what surfaced during the tribute may have been one of the final complete recordings he left behind. Either way, the performance has undeniably reignited global interest in his artistic legacy. Streaming searches for Yu Menglong's past music reportedly surged within hours of the video going viral. Fan communities have since begun organizing digital memorial playlists, tribute edits, and coordinated listening events to honor his work. But beyond the numbers and trending charts, something more meaningful seems to have happened. For many fans, this moment provided a kind of emotional closure they didn't realize they were still searching for after the shock of September 11, 2025. Because grief doesn't always end when headlines fade. Sometimes it lingers quietly, waiting for a song, a voice, or a memory to bring it rushing back. And that's exactly what this performance did. Even now, the clip continues to circulate widely, with new viewers discovering it daily and reacting with the same stunned emotional response. Some call it heartbreaking. Some call it healing. Others simply call it unforgettable. But nearly everyone agrees on one thing. It was a moment that transcended ordinary tribute. As conversations continue to grow, fans are watching closely to see whether Yu Menglong's team will officially release the full studio version of the song. So far, no formal announcement has been made, but the demand is clearly there. And if the emotional reaction to this performance is any indication, the world is still listening. Very closely. If this story moved you even a little, I want to hear from you. Did his son's performance hit you as hard as it hit other fans? Do you think Yu Menglong's unreleased music should be officially released to the public? And what was the exact moment in the performance that gave you chills? The moment the video ended, the silence didn't. Instead, it followed viewers everywhere. Across living rooms, late-night phone screens, and quiet headphones in the dark, fans sat frozen long after the final note faded. Something about that performance, something about hearing the son of Yu Menglong sing his father's unreleased song, refused to let go. And the deeper people looked into part one of this unfolding story, the more questions began to surface. Because what initially appeared to be a simple tribute was now revealing layers nobody expected. Behind the emotional performance was a timeline that had fans raising eyebrows. Sources close to the memorial revealed that the unreleased track wasn't randomly selected. According to insiders, the song had been quietly preserved in Yu Menglong's private archive since early 2025, months before the tragic events of September 11 shook the industry. That detail alone sent online communities into investigative mode. Why this song? Why now? And who ultimately made the call to bring it into the spotlight through his son's voice? What makes part one of this saga especially gripping is the way small details keep surfacing, details that, on their own, seem ordinary, but together feel almost too perfectly aligned. Take the rehearsal story that recently leaked. According to a production assistant who allegedly witnessed the closed-door practice session, the young boy had initially struggled with the opening lines. Not because he couldn't sing, but because, as the source claimed, he became visibly emotional halfway through the first rehearsal run. The room reportedly went quiet. Not the polite kind of quiet. The heavy kind. The assistant described a moment where the child paused, took a deep breath, and whispered something that only those closest to the stage could hear. "We practiced this at home." That single sentence has since gone viral in fan circles. Because it suggests something deeply personal was happening long before the cameras ever rolled. If true, it means this wasn't just a staged tribute prepared by event organizers. It hints that the song and the decision for him to perform it may have been rooted in something much more intimate inside the family. And that possibility has completely changed how many fans are interpreting part one. What's also fueling the emotional storm is the timing. Remember, Yu Menglong's passing on September 11, 2025, left a wave of unanswered emotions across his global fanbase. At the time, tributes poured in, but many supporters felt the farewell was abrupt, unfinished, almost like a chapter that closed too quickly. Then suddenly, months later, this performance appears. Not by an industry veteran. Not by a celebrity collaborator. but by his own son. For many viewers, that connection hit like a lightning strike. Social media analytics show that the clip didn't just trend, it lingered. Unlike typical viral moments that spike and fade within hours, engagement around this performance has remained unusually steady. Reaction videos continue to appear. Fan edits continue to circulate. And perhaps most telling of all, comment sections remain flooded with deeply personal messages from viewers sharing their own experiences with grief and memory. That kind of sustained emotional response is rare. Very rare. Another detail from part 1 that has viewers talking is the staging itself. Multiple attendees noted that the lighting design during the performance was unusually minimal. Just a single spotlight. No dramatic background visuals. No elaborate stage effects. At first glance, it seemed simple. But now fans are wondering if that simplicity was intentional. Because the stripped-down presentation did something powerful, it forced every eye and every emotion directly onto the boy and the song. Nothing to distract. Nothing to soften the moment. Just voice, memory, and silence. One industry insider described it perfectly. It felt less like a performance, and more like a message. That quote alone has fueled countless fan theories. Some believe the family wanted the tribute to feel raw and unfiltered. Others think the minimal staging was designed specifically to highlight the emotional continuity between father and son. Either way, the impact is undeniable. But perhaps the most chilling detail from part 1 is something many viewers almost missed. Near the end of the performance, just seconds before the final note, the young boy reportedly glanced upward toward the darkened balcony area of the venue. It was brief. Almost imperceptible. But fans who replayed the clip frame by frame insist the look wasn't random. Some interpret it as a moment of nerves. Others believe it was something far more emotional, a child instinctively searching for someone who wasn't there. That single glance has now become one of the most replayed moments in the entire video. And it perfectly captures why this story continues to grip audiences worldwide. Because beyond the speculation, beyond the trending hashtags, there is something undeniably human at the center of part 1. A child. A song. And a legacy that refuses to fade quietly. As more behind-the-scenes whispers emerge, one thing is becoming increasingly clear: this performance may have only opened the door to a much larger emotional chapter in Yu Menglong's story. Music insiders are already hinting that additional unreleased material could still exist. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the renewed global attention has reportedly sparked internal discussions about how and whether more of his work should be shared. If that happens, part 1 may eventually be remembered as the moment everything changed. The moment the world realized that Yu Menglong's voice, in one way or another, was not finished being heard. And judging by the overwhelming reaction so far, fans are more than ready to listen. But now I want to hear directly from you. When you watched his son perform the unreleased song, what was the exact moment that gave you chills? Do you believe the family planned this tribute long in advance, or do you think it happened naturally after September 11th, 2025? And most importantly, should more of Yu Menglong's unreleased music be officially released to the public? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, I read every single one. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional deep dives and exclusive updates.